To have the kind of success that the Kansas City Chiefs have had in recent years, they need to be all hands on deck. One of the most important hands comes from a one-handed man who never even played high school football, but has been a key part of Patrick Mahomes' games.
I came to the decision that, well, if they're going to stare, they're going to point. Like, let's give them a show.
This is Porter Ellett. His journey is very unlikely, but now he's become a major part of the Chiefs dynasty. The first thing everyone notices about him is the fact that he only has one arm. But he didn't lose it, he actually decided to get rid of it. Ellett grew up on a farm in Loa, Utah. You've probably never heard of it, because it's a small town about 200 miles south of Salt Lake City. The town has a total area of 0.9 square miles and is mostly a farming community. It was there at the age of 4, Ellett had a terrible accident.
My dad had a motorcycle and he would always haul in the back of the truck. So I was 4 and I begged him, like, hey, can I ride in the back?
Ellett was on a motorcycle strapped to the back of a moving pickup truck, and when he attempted to get off, they hit a bump and he was thrown from the truck. He nearly severed a main artery, which would have been fatal. He barely escaped death. But what did happen to him was that he fractured his skull in 3 places and damaged the nerves leading to his right arm. The pain was excruciating, and he lost all ability to move his arm. Most would feel unlucky, but Ellett also understood he barely escaped death. So, he focused on being grateful instead. As he grew up, life in Loa, Utah meant helping out on the farm. It would be no different for this kid who could only use one arm, and his parents made sure not to baby him. They loved him, but they made it clear he needed to learn to do things just as everyone else did, to help prepare him for his life ahead. So, Ellett learned to not let his disposition keep him down. He could tie his own shoes, he did all sorts of farm work, he could shoot a shotgun, and much more. Ellett was also an athlete at heart, but how would that work? Well, Ellett developed into a solid baseball player, able to catch the ball, flip it out of his glove, and flip the glove off so he could then throw the ball in a majestic move that you'd have to see to believe. He even batted over 400 in high school. And he excelled in basketball too, winning the state three-point shooting competition. But there were several problems that reared their ugly heads when Ellett played the game. The right arm he couldn't control was swinging around as he played, sometimes hitting himself with it, sometimes hitting another player and getting called for a foul for it. The worst problem? At age 16 in a game, he dislocated his shoulder and his elbow and broke his arm. Tough, right? Well, it wasn't the first time or the second time. It was the 6th time that happened. He could do so much with his left arm, but the right one was dead weight holding him back. So, he made the big decision to have his arm amputated. Ellett was excited for basketball to get much easier for him now. But little did he know, he had just opened the door to a path much bigger than high school sports. But as a teen, all he cared about back then was just to be great in baseball and basketball. He was a 1A MVP as a junior in baseball, and as a senior, he was first-team All-State. His basketball team won the regional championship, which even earned them an invitation to come on Good Morning America. Because of Ellett's unique situation, positive attitude, and excellent athleticism, he was even written about in a New Era article. This would end up having a massive impact for him because later he went to BYU, and a woman he met there, Carly, realized he was the kid from that article. She later became his wife. At BYU, Ellett was also the equipment room attendant for the football team. Anything to be close to sports.
That's why I love sports, is because they saved me, really.
Ellett graduated from BYU with a bachelor's degree in economics and turned that into a job as a tax analyst at Goldman Sachs. He had settled into corporate life as many do, but he still dreamed about sports all day. He and a coworker even created a hobby for themselves, using spreadsheets to evaluate athletes' performances in baseball, basketball, and football. He wasn't just hooked on watching the games, he was hooked on analyzing them. His wife Carly saw how passionate he was about this and encouraged him to pursue it further.
So we were sitting down for dinner one night and I just asked him, what is it that you think about when you have nothing else you need to think about? And it was sports.
This level of support was so important because he soon decided to seriously pursue that new path. He secured a spot at Baylor's sports management program, earning his master's degree in 2016. Now, with his more technical understanding of the sports business, he had the tools he needed when opportunity knocked on his door. One of Ellett's friends from BYU, Devin Woodhouse, also had aspirations of being in sports management. The two remained close, and Woodhouse soon also got married to a woman named Drew Reed, who just so happened to be the daughter of Andy Reid, head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. Woodhouse got a job working for the team, and Ellett and Carly were invited to watch a game in December of 2016. Right after the game, they went to a gathering at Andy Reid's home. There, Ellett got the chance to speak with the Chiefs' head coach, and it was almost like a casual interview took place between them. Reid walked away impressed with his conversation with Ellett, but there was another reason he was drawn to him: the missing arm. As fate would have it, when Andy Reid was younger, his older brother was in a motorcycle accident, paralyzing one side of his body and losing the ability to use one of his arms. The connection was obvious. Reid remembered Ellett, so after the season, when there was an opening for a senior assistant position, Reid brought him in for an interview. During the process, Ellett even admitted to the head coach that he didn't really know football. But Reid liked the honesty and agreed to teach him the game as long as Ellett brought all his other skills to the table. Reid summed up the responsibility saying, basically, you need to be me when I'm not here, or when I am here, you need to be my right-hand man and keep me going in the right direction. Ellett responded quickly, as long as you would be okay with your right-hand man not having a right hand. Reid loved that, and so Ellett became his left-hand man. He was soon handling the schedule for Coach Reid and the team. He was also responsible for organizing and managing the team's game plans and play cards. To optimize this task, Ellett worked with the Chiefs' equipment staff to create a modified sweatshirt with a pouch sewn in front, allowing him to have play cards sorted and easily accessible for Coach Reid during practice. You might think a kid from a small town in Utah suffering a horrible accident, having his arm amputated, eventually landing a job as a senior assistant for the Kansas City Chiefs was about as fairy tale ending as a story could get. But Ellett wasn't done. He didn't allow himself to be satisfied just yet, and pushed himself to greater heights. For 3 years, starting in 2017, Ellett was Reid's left-hand man, managing game plans, scheduling, and helping Reid stay focused on his essential head coaching duties. Ellett was even quizzing the other coaches to make sure they were on top of their game. He also learned that offense inside and out. He had become a key member of the Chiefs with his hard work and positive energy. Reid even mentioned how he's relentless, he has a phenomenal personality, and everybody trusts him. Ellett wanted to perfect every inch of the Kansas City offense that he could. That year, 2017, may stand out to you because it's the year Patrick Mahomes arrived in Kansas City. 2018 was Mahomes' first full starting year, when he put the league on notice, but the next year in 2019, both Mahomes and Ellett's third year with the team, they were in the Super Bowl in Miami.
And they have done it. Chiefs are Super Bowl champions here in Miami.
The big win saw Ellett get promoted to Offensive Quality Control Coach. It was now 2020, and before every game during warm-ups, Mahomes would get loose by throwing the ball. When the ball was thrown back to him, he'd catch it himself, until Ellett came over to lend a helping hand.
Came and started doing it. It wasn't like I asked him to do it. He just saw that I was catching the football and he took it upon himself. He was like, hey, I'll come catch if you want me to.
Before every game since 2020, Chiefs assistant coach Porter Ellett and Mahomes have followed this same routine.
It became a new ritual for the two. Athletes love their good luck rituals, but how did this one work out for Mahomes? Well, they made it back to the Super Bowl that year, made it to the AFC Championship game the next, and then won 2 more Super Bowls. And who has been there with Mahomes through it all? Porter Ellett. After 3 years of being the offensive quality control coach, he moved up the Chiefs ladder once again. Since 2023, he has been the assistant running backs coach. That run game now has Ellett's fingerprints all over it and has been an important part of the Chiefs' offense, especially as they've seen wide receivers come and go. The run game holds them down. Ellett loves the game and everything that comes with it. He's one of the most positive people you'll ever meet and an integral part of the Chiefs franchise. He already has 3 Super Bowls, and if the Chiefs keep dominating like they are, Ellett may soon run out of fingers to put his Super Bowl rings on. A problem we all wish we had. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos on the screen.